Hi, welcome to our video, How to Self-Grade a Report. There are two types of reports that you can self-grade or self-assess. One is a required self-grading report and the other is an optional self-grading report. All required self-grading reports must be completed in order to move on to the next chapter. Here is where we find required and optional self-grading reports on our student history page. For this video, we will complete an optional self-grading dictation, but the principles and procedures are exactly the same for required and optional dictations. When you open the report, you'll notice that some of the text is highlighted in purple and other text is highlighted in green. The purple text refers to potential errors that you have made. The green text is the correct text from the answer key. Again, the purple text is a potential error. It may not be an error. It may be an acceptable variation. For example, the green text from the answer key may say the patient, while the purple text that you transcribe may say patient. Since the account specifics tells us that both of these are acceptable, this is not to be counted as an error. It's an acceptable variation. To self-grade, you scroll through the purple and green areas in the report looking for actual errors. When you find the first one, highlight or click on the purple error. Then go to the error categories listed on the left-hand side of your screen. There you choose the correct error type that corresponds with the error that you have made. As you can see, these are categorized into critical, major, or minor errors. Be sure and go to the FAQ link located at the top of your curriculum and study the document Student Self-Graded Reports. There's an excellent table in there of errors explained in depth to give you more ideas about critical, major, and minor errors. Now let's look at our report and grade it. Patient versus name. This is located in the documentation as an acceptable variation. It would not be an error, so we would give it a no point value. We can note it as an acceptable variation if we would like. Little comments sometimes help us remember why we've made the error and hopefully not make it again. Lisinopril is capitalized is an error. It's a protocol failure because it's mentioned in the account specifics that we do not capitalize generic brands or generic drugs. So we would say that this was a protocol failure for generic versus brand name. Next, we have the word exam typed in as a heading. The account specifics also tell us never to make a heading unless it's dictated. This again would be another protocol failure, but a different one. So we would type in protocol failure, or even you can type in account specifics error, headings, if you want to remember that you've done that incorrectly. We have an extra word added, so we have to count off for that. That's a minor error. And we would say something about not dictated to remind ourselves not to add words. Next, we have a vital signs error, and we need to make sure that we note that as such, and we could just say incorrect numbers, just so we'd know why we had that error. Next, again, we have another extra word. We will probably want to keep track of how many extra words we add because it can indicate a pattern. Next, we have our lisinopril again, but it's exactly the same error as number 3. So we wouldn't mark off again for that. We would just say a no point value, remind ourselves that we've done it now twice, and say same as number 3, and go on to the next error. If we come to this last error, it's a range error. This is something mentioned in the Book of Style, so we'll give it a formatting error, and we'll say BOS error, ranges should be hyphenated, at least in this instance. So as you can see, our final score is 94. If we had accidentally clicked one more time on that, you can see that it would add another error to the bottom, that was incorrect. We've marked it twice, and we can just hit delete to delete that. You can also use the delete if you want to just delete the error and assign it a different error code. Finally, we can add a little comment down here at the end. Be careful with ranges. Make sure you do not capitalize generic drugs. These are types of comments that you might make to yourself to help you remember. Now we're done grading our report and it's ready to go. Always save it just in case, so you've made sure that all of your notations and your errors got saved. And last of all, submit it and it will appear in your gradebook. If we want to confirm, hit that and it is saved to our gradebook with a score of 94. That's it. Thank you for watching.